So here's the deal. Yesterday, too, at the mayor's press conference, he talked about this new survey of San Diegans that said that the majority would approve of this public vote. So joining me to talk about it is John Nienstedt. You are the president and CEO of Competitive Edge Research, and your company conducted this poll.
Yep.
Good morning.
Good morning. Nice to be here.
Thank you for coming in. So I want to ask you, first of all, what did the numbers show you?
Well, the numbers demonstrate to the NFL mainly that there is support. 51% of the voters would approve of a plan, the plan that the mayor was talking about, to build a new stadium using the 2/3, 1/3 split.
Okay, and 41% would disapprove.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, and who did you talk to? How many people? How big was the sample?
Sample size is 400.
Okay.
There's a margin of sampling error of plus or minus 4.9% on those numbers. The survey was done in June. People should know that. It was done in June.
Okay.
And it was just released yesterday.
Okay. Now, what is the question that you actually, what was the phrasing? Because there's a lot of questions this morning as to the legitimacy of these polling numbers and the actual support. So what was the actual question asked of these people?
Let me read it to you, Lisa. Proposition 1, which is what we labeled it in the survey, it approves building a roughly $1 billion modern football stadium, which the city and county would own on the Qualcomm Stadium site. About 2/3 of the cost would be paid by the National Football League, the Chargers, and corporate sponsors. About 1/3 of the cost would be paid by city and county government. And then we would ask, do you approve, would you approve, or would you reject this proposal?
And then that's where you came up with the 51% said, yes, I would approve based on that question.
Exactly.
Okay, so my question to you, though, this morning is the Chargers have done their own polling, saying that 60% of people in San Diego, likely voters, would disapprove of this very same financing plan. How in the world could we have such a difference?
Well, they didn't ask the same question that we asked. I haven't seen their question. I just read you the question that we asked. We haven't seen that poll yet, so until we see it, we don't really know. But I know that they were focused on the idea of general fund money, something like that. If that's the only thing you're asking voters about, then that could be the issue right there. I think ours was done in the way we worded the question, would be something that would be on the ballot. Remember, if this ever makes it to the ballot, the Chargers are going to have to support it because the mayor has already said it's not going to go on the ballot without the Chargers' support, and the city council writes the ballot measure. Right. So we think we came pretty close to what will actually be on the ballot.
You know, the Chargers also said, though, that the way in which you phrase that question would kind of lead voters to say yes. Do you agree with that?
Again, we're just trying to replicate what would be on the ballot. If that's what's on the ballot, then I'm comfortable with my numbers. So the Chargers probably asked a very different question, and that's why they got the numbers they got.
Could it possibly be they sampled just a different sampling of people?
Probably not. They used Peter Hart, and he's a reputable pollster, just like Competitive Edge is. So I don't think that's the issue. I think the issue is completely related to question wording.
Okay. And you're totally confident in these numbers?
Oh, absolutely.
Given the margin of error as well, there's almost a 5% margin of error
with all of this. There's a margin of error. We also replicated a 50% turnout level, and in a special election, that may or may not happen. We could blow past that. We could be less than that, but it's all an estimate at this point.
Sure.
And then the other thing is that, you know, it's a snapshot in time. It was done in June. We're going to get to a situation, if we get to the ballot, where the Chargers again support this. There will be a campaign run in favor of it. There might be some opposition as well, and we don't know exactly how things would turn out at that time.
Well, and also in polling, isn't it all about the question and how the question is phrased? So,
well, in polling, but also in elections. In elections, you have that ballot measure, that wording of the ballot measure every voter looks at, and that's what they're making their decision on. Right. We don't have that yet. We tried to replicate it in our survey. I don't know if the Chargers did in theirs.
All right. Well, John, thank you so much for coming in and breaking this down for us. This was very helpful.
My pleasure.
All right.